Hi, my name is Dan and I'm one of the DT evangelists here at Digital-Tutors. In this video, we're going to look at a question from one of our users, Montgomery, on how we can get a label applied to a bottle while maintaining some caustics. So to illustrate this, I have a very simple scene set up here, and I've got this bottle with a dielectric material. We also have some caustics in the scene. So if I were to render this out, we can see the effect that we have. We have our caustics coming out down here. So what I'd like to be able to do, be able to add some sort of a label to this bottle. Now, one method that we could use to do that would be to actually use a layered shader. However, this can cause some issues if we need to maintain our caustics because layered shaders don't support photon mapping effects like caustics. So we'll have to do kind of a workaround here. So let's go ahead and save this image out. That way we can compare later on. Now, in order to get this effect, first we're going to have to set up our label. So I'm going to come in to the hypershade here. Let's go ahead and create a new material. I use something like a surface shader, and this will be my label material. And I actually have a simple label that I've created. So let's go ahead and pull that in as a file texture. And basically it's just a simple label that we've put together so that I can throw that onto this bottle here. And it does have transparency in there. So let's go ahead and apply this to the bottle to see what that looks like. Alright, we can see how our label is here, but we lost all our transparency. Well, let's go in and make sure that we have this hooked up properly. So I have my file here, which does have transparency in there, but it looks like when I hook this up, I hook this only into the color, so we're not getting any of the transparency. So we can simply middle-click our file and drag that into the transparency of the surface shader. So now if we were to render this out, we can see that the result that we get is basically just our label here. We don't have any of the bottle. So this was before with just the bottle, and this is with just the label. So in order to get this label on top of the bottle, one method that we could use is to simply duplicate this geometry, have one for the label and then one for the actual bottle. So what we can do is come in and hit Control D in order to duplicate this mesh. I'm going to come in and maybe call this my label geometry. So this will have my label material applied to it. Now real quick, I'm going to come in and actually hide this so that way I can come back to my glass bottle and apply my glass material to it. Right click and go up to Assign Material to Selection. So basically we have our glass bottle. And now if we come back into Display, Hide, or Show, and show the last hidden object, we'll show our label there, which since it has the transparency applied to it, we should get the effect of the label sitting on top of the actual glass bottle. Alright, well, we're definitely getting that. We're getting a few of the caustics coming through here. Although the caustics will be a little bit different from our original render since we're applying some sort of a texture on here. So the photons won't be going all the way through. We're getting a really strange effect here, as well as actually some interpenetration here on the bottle itself. So what we can do in order to fix that, I'm going to hop into my side view here. And if we hit 6, we can go into our textured view. Now, for the actual label itself, we don't really need the rest of this geometry here. So I have my glass bottle selected. Let's go ahead and hide that again real quick. And for the label geometry, if we switch our renderer to the high quality rendering, we can see it a little bit easier here. So we have the label. We don't really need the rest of this geometry, so I can just simply right click and come to my face selection mode, hold down Shift and select all of these faces here, and then hit delete on my keyboard in order to create this separate piece of geometry with just the label itself. Now, in order to fix some of the interpenetration that was going on, let's go ahead and bring back our the actual glass here. So we'll show our last hidden. Because we actually just duplicated the geometry, they're sitting right on top of each other. So with the label geometry selected, we can come into our vertex selection mode, select all of the vertices here, and if we come into our scale tool, just kind of scale it up just a little bit in order to kind of have it sitting on the outside. Now we can always come in and maybe clean up some of these edges here, up at the top as well as down at the bottom. But primarily we want to make sure that the label is not causing that interpenetration with the actual glass bottle. Okay, so we have something sort of like this here. Let's go ahead and render this out and see how this looks now. All right, great. We're getting our caustic effect down here. It's very similar to what we had previously. Although it is, like I said before, it's going to be slightly different because we are introducing this texture in here, so the photons aren't going all the way through the glass material like they were previously. So we're going to get a slightly different effect with the caustics there. But as we can see, we've successfully been able to add our label to this bottle while maintaining the caustics by simply duplicating the geometry and then just kind of scaling it up a little bit so as we don't get that interpenetration, and then also deleting the extra faces that we don't need in there. So that is a look at how we can get a label applied to a bottle while maintaining our caustics. Now, if you want to learn some more in-depth techniques on how to optimize the caustics within your projects, I'd recommend checking out the Montgomery Workflows in Maya Caustics course.